Hi, everybody. It's Miss Brooke, and today I wanted to review our first Hearst Castle lesson. This lesson is called It's All Greek to Me, and it's important because a lot of the art that you see here, we will also be seeing at Hearst Castle. So, the first question is, what does my life have in common with an ancient Greeks? First of all, we both have mandatory public education, meaning that every child between the ages of 6 and 18 has to go to school. Another one is that we have democratic government, and everyone who's over the age of 18 gets a vote. Another way that we're similar is we both of the societies, the ancient Greeks and our contemporary society, value art and entertainment. And a final way that we have in common is that both our societies have religious customs and celebrations. So, first, we're going to look at Athena. And Athena was the patron goddess of Sparta, but she was also the goddess of wisdom and war. And there are a couple of different origin myths about her. Her origin is when she was born. One origin myth says that she sprang from the head of Zeus fully formed. And another origin myth says that she was the child of Poseidon and Polyphe, a sea nymph. So also, Nike, who was the goddess of victory, was an aspect of Athena before they were split into two separate goddesses. And there was an Athena for athletic games, lead in battle of the city. She was the healer, and she invented the chariot. So, what were a few ways that the Greeks worshipped their gods? You could see Greek gods all over the place in ancient Greece. You could see the gods in poetry, in theater, in paintings, and in statues, and in vases. Now we're going to discuss Apollo and Artemis. And Apollo is the god of music, poetry, healing, and prophecy. Prophecy is when you know what's going to happen in the future. Apollo's attributes are the lyre and bow and arrows. And this is interesting. Apollo was the god of healing, but he could also rain down plague with his poison arrows. In other words, he could make an entire village or town come down with the plague. That was one of the myths that they believed about him. And then Artemis. Artemis is the goddess of hunting, wilderness, and childbirth. She was Apollo's twin. Her attributes, when you see them, are the things that represent Artemis in some of the Greek art were a bow and arrow, a deer, or a hunting dog. And look at this. You can see a deer right there. And the lyre, which is the musical instrument, that's Apollo. And the deer that represents Artemis. This is a piece of art that is at Hearst Castle. Next is Athena. Athena is, again, the goddess of wisdom, warfare, crafts, and civilization. The attributes or the pictures that represent Athena are the armor, helmet, and spear, the gorgonian, which is the head of snakes, and an owl. Those are the things that represent her. She is often portrayed wearing the Gorgonian, the head of Medusa, since she aided Perseus, the slayer of Medusa, on his quest. And there you can see those things that represent Athena. This is another piece of art that's in Hearst Castle. Heracles. Heracles was the greatest Greek hero. Some of the attributes that represent Heracles are a lion skin and a club. So one of his labors that he completed was slaying the Nemean lion, and he wore its skin as armor afterwards. All right. Dionysus is the original party animal. He is the god of wine and theater. Some of the attributes or pictures that represent him are grapevines, goats, and satyrs. Dionysus was an important god to the Greeks because attending theatrical plays was a religious duty. So you can see here, there's the goats and the grapevines that represent him. Finally, Hermes is the messenger of the gods. He is god of commerce and travelers. And the attributes that represent him are a winged hat, winged sandals, and the herald staff. So his winged sandal ensured that he traveled swiftly on his missions for the gods and while guiding the souls to the underworld for Hades. So you can see the winged sandals right there. And Poseidon, look at this picture. Look at all of this art and look to see what attribute represents Poseidon in all of these pieces of art. Can you see it? Look very closely. What is in all 4 of those pieces of art? So this, you will see, all of these pieces of art you will see at Hearst Castle. I'm really excited that we'll be going. And who do you think this is and why? This is the first one of who is it? Who do you think this is and why? Look very closely. Can you see it? Who do you think this is and why? Look very closely. What do you see? This is the second one of who is it? Who do you think this is and why? Look very carefully. This is number 3 of who is it? Who do you think this is and why? This is number 4. What do you see? Who do you think this is and why? Who do you think this is and why? And who do you think this is and why? Who do you think this is and why? And lastly, who do you think this is and why?